These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
I hate this channel.
Hey there, I'm the SIJW, the Infuso, and there's no doubt about it. Macho Man Randy Savage is one of the all-time greats, and will forever be remembered for his contributions to professional wrestling. From his time in the Mega Powers with frenemy Hulk Hogan, to his numerous world title reigns, unforgettable WrestleMania matches, his time with the NWO, and even his time on commentary. But regardless of how you remember him, wrestler, wordsmith, gangster rapper, the chances are you don't remember him for his brief time in TNA. Hell, that might even be news to some of you. And yes, I know not you specifically, because, come on, who didn't know Macho Man wrestled in TNA? Yeah, I get it. You're smart. You know everything. You are the perfect wrestling fan in every way, shape, and form, and others should strive to be as great as you. Now please stop commenting on my videos, you're hurting my feelings. After 4 years away from the wrestling industry following his departure from the dying WCW, the icon would return to the world of wrestling by debuting on TNA at the end of the 2004 Victory Road pay-per-view. The main event was a ladder match between Jeff Hardy and the real DNA of TNA, sorry Matt, Jeff Jarrett, for Jarrett's NWA World Championship. Going into the match, Jarrett proclaimed he had buddy Scott Hall watching his back, while Hardy managed to get Big Daddy Cool Diesel in his corner. Unfortunately, that wasn't entirely true as Nash turned on the youngest Hardy and aligned himself with Scott Hall. Man, who would have saw that coming? Except for anyone who's ever watched wrestling at any point in life.
Will this be a Hall and Nash reunion?
Good luck. Jeff, don't worry about it, man. I got your back. Keep your friends close, your enemies close.
So, everybody stay tuned and may the best Jeff win.
Following the betrayal and Jarrett's victory, the three-man team known as the Kings of Wrestling, no, not you guys, and I'm truly sorry that you have to share a name with this gimmick. You guys, you don't deserve that. The Kings of Wrestling made an open challenge to the TNA locker room. The challenge was answered relatively quickly, allowing the megastar team, and Jeff Jarrett, to take out the likes of Road Dogg, R-Truth, Conan, and AJ Styles. Just then, the cameras cut to the back to see a man in a mysterious trench coat step out from a limousine, meaning that this was probably either Kevin Smith or the Columbine Kids. But to the shock of many, thankfully it was neither. Making his way to the ring was none other than Randy Savage. The Macho Man, now looking as if he stepped off the set of Jeepers Creepers, or had since his retirement somehow become the tag team partner of Dog the Bounty Hunter. It's like Macho Man saw the movie Blade once and was like, yes, that, all of that. That's what I want to do. The Macho Man came out at the closing of that month's pay-per-view, clearly looking to reignite his long-standing rivalry with Jeff Jarrett, I guess? Was that a thing? Was that a thing that I don't remember being a thing? I didn't know they interacted at all. I still don't think that they interacted at all. I mean, yeah, you could argue that there's some history between Mach and the Outsiders, but for the better part of his time in WCW, and even toward the end of it, Macho Man was on good terms with them. They were in the NWO and the NWO Wolfpack together. Hell, Mach was even part of the Millionaires Club with Kevin Nash for that one episode. What was the issue here? On top of that, Mach was a major name and was clearly being brought in to lead a resistance against the new royal regime. Strangely enough, Mach wasn't even permitted to enter the ring on his first appearance, instead being kept back by security as he paced on the ramp, aggressively pointing at his former colleagues. Mach, you gotta calm down there, bud. That kind of erratic behavior is exactly what gets you thrown out of Olive Garden. True, this wasn't the greatest use of the then-living legend, but I mean, come on, this overall moment should be historic. Macho Man, a man who spent his life in the danger zone, now headed to the impact zone. While this wasn't greatly executed, this debut was still impactful. You see what I did there? That's why YouTube pays me the big bucks. That's why. Talent. The Kings of Wrestling would continue to run roughshod over the roster, beating down everyone who stood in their path. That is until the impromptu team of Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Macho Man Vampire Slayer confronted the wannabe NWO with an Elvis complex, and challenged them to a 6-man tag match at the main event of the upcoming Turning Point pay-per-view. Though he was the one who was throwing down the gauntlet, his reasons for his sudden Jeff Jarrett hatred remained unknown. I mean, yeah, I get it. He's a face, Jarrett's a heel, but there's gotta be a little bit more to that, right?
Nope.
All 6 guys, tag team match from hell, Turning Point. Ooh, yeah!
That's it?
That's it.
Maybe there was, but it was never really addressed. His next appearance didn't help that front either, as he just left a counterattack to the standing Elvises. Savage, Styles, and Hardy were scheduled to face NWO 2000 at Turning Point, but it was unfortunately revealed that Macho Man was assaulted prior to the show. A real disappointment to anybody watching at home.
Boo this man!
But to the delight of many, the Genius's older brother actually did return to the ring, looking like he just left the gym.
Wait a minute! What? It's Savage! He's here!
Helping bring the match to a close. And that's it. That's it. That's all he did. Not just in that match, but throughout his entire time in TNA. He showed up 2 or 3 times, had a match that he didn't really participate in until the climax of it. He was able to reinterject himself into the match during its conclusion, so there was that. And that's not even an exaggeration, that's just it. And he left the company shortly thereafter, though reasons why seem to vary. Some people say it was because he was sick, other people say that he heard TNA was looking to get into business with Hulk Hogan, something that wouldn't wind up happening for several years after.
Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulkster, whatever they call you, I'm coming after you, you coward!
Those who were working behind the scenes at TNA at the time state that the original plan was for Randy Savage to come in and take the belt off Jeff Jarrett at the Final Resolution pay-per-view, only for him to then drop it at the following pay-per-view after that. And while I do love Savage as a worker and would love to see him get another title added to his championship resume, the man, though fit, was clearly not really in any ring shape. At the end of the day, Macho Man's time with TNA seemed entirely purposeless. I mean, here was a guy who was known for being a master of the ring and a master of the mic. And they brought him into the fold, and he barely wrestled, he barely spoke, and he was barely there at all. And yet, he and his brief time with the TNA brand was put into the major angle going on in the company at the time.
The leader of the TNA locker room has just done it!
And yet still, he somehow never seemed to have any real relevance to the product. This is a man with a legendary career, but this period of time is not part of it. Macho Man worked with TNA. And really, what more can you say than that? That's probably affording it too many words.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You're watching the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso's channel, dude. So if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too want to become a V-tard, don't forget to like and subscribe, and click that little bell icon to get updates and notifications. Ooh, tell him what up, Mach. Ooh, yeah. Follow the man on Twitter, yeah, because we all know it's not stalking if it's on the internet, yeah. Join the madness by joining the Discord, and if you have a moment of time and a free $1 to spare, head over to the SIJW's Patreon, dig it, where you can request videos, get exclusive videos, and early access to content, yeah. Or go down to PayPal, where you can buy the shirts, brother. But most importantly, just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.